You are now watching MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV. Chill!
Yes, hello everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and welcome to another new episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV. Hope all is well. And on this episode, we do have a special guest. She is an author, a writer, a poet, and she even a film critic, and she a funny girl too. We got Miss Jaylan on the show, and we're gonna talk to her about her poetry, her writing, and many more. This was an amazing interview. I hope y'all will enjoy it as well. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I got my special guest. She is an author. She is a poet. She is a writer. She is a film critic. I heard she also a comedian. We got Miss J on the show. Jay, how you doing?
Well, hello, Ken. I'm okay. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. And, welcome to my show, and happy to have you here.
I'm happy too. I'm so happy to be here. Let me tell you.
Nice. So we're gonna start off with, where are you from?
Well, I'm from Egypt.
Nice. So I got a question. So how is it? So what time is it in Egypt right now? And how is it in Egypt, right, as in weather-wise?
Weather-wise, it's still not cold, surprisingly, although my hometown, Alexandria, is known for the chilly weather. So just wait for it in like December, January, February. We have all these, like storms and rain and stuff. It's really tough weather if you're not in Alexandria and you don't get used to it easily because it's always rainy and stuff like that. Humidity is high, so you feel the cold and the chills, but it's a beautiful city, so you'll just find something.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm in New York, so yeah. So it's winter here now. Apparently, I heard it's probably snowing. So yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I can feel.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So how we describe yourself as a person? Name 3 words.
3 words.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so Jaylan, I feel, is a passionate woman. She's wild, and right now she's wise. Okay, she might have been so, like all over the place in the past, but now she's still passionate. She's been passionate all her life, wild and also wise. So this is me.
Nice, good choices. So what do you do for fun?
Well, what I do for fun, Ken, is just talking to you, talking to people from all over the world. I find it so cool to just get to know people because, I've always felt like I was a freak. I always felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. So for me to just talk to people, I always have this thing in me in like, okay, finally I'll find my tribe. Finally, I'll find someone I can fit in with. So I just keep discovering people, discovering places, discovering foods, discovering music, discovering sensations, like going to spas, going to extreme experiences, like even horror houses, just salt caves, anything you can imagine, yoga by the sea, whatever. So for fun, I just try to do adventures or do stuff where I can discover myself and just mainly get to know people and pick their brains.
You know what, crazy? I could definitely relate like heavy because all my life always dealt with social anxiety, dealing with people. So as I got older, I tried to change that. So now I started the podcast show and stuff like that. Start to network with more people and around the world. So yeah, it's kind of the same place. I always felt like I was the outcast too. So I completely get it. Trust me, I get it. So
see, birds of a feather.
Yes, we definitely in the same boat. We are definitely in the same boat.
Yeah.
And what is one talent that you have that nobody knows about?
I wish I had something cool to just tell. Like I wish I could say I juggle or like dive and stuff. Maybe in the past I used to be a good singer, but I don't think I have it
Mm.
anymore. Like I've had it in me. I went and auditioned for local rock bands and stuff. I
Oh
really had a
wow.
good voice. And I should have pursued it, I think, but I was so focused on, let's just be a writer. And then, I took the very safe route and became a pharmacist and worked, like normal jobs and stuff. Now I'm back to being an artist again. So who knows? Maybe I'll just, let in some singing slip in. You never know. But I used to be I might have been a good singer, at least a good performer per se. I'm not gonna say I'm Whitney Houston, although I like her. I just love her so much. So yeah, that's my
Nice.
talent.
Now you know it's funny because I used to write songs. Me and my team, I used to have a music group, and I used to write songs. So yeah, that's crazy.
We should write one together. You and I, and just see what happens.
That
And
sounded
then
sound,
the
sound like a
internet
plan. Sound
the
like a
internet
plan.
trolls the internet trolls will like go after us, like, shut up, stop writing songs, and we'll be like, no, we're artists, we just did it. And you
that,
never
that,
know.
that, that would be really dope. That would be
Yeah.
that would be a good idea. But
Yeah.
let's talk about your beginning of life. So how was you growing up? Let's talk about that. Let's start with that.
Well, I had a very creative childhood. Like for me, my parents were not really into, just letting the kids go to the club. We have the, like country clubs and stuff here where you just let the kids go and play with other kids. My parents were more interested in, like nourishing us like artistically and just
Mm-hmm.
culturally and stuff like that, to read, to go to museums, to go to plays and just teach us. My mom especially was like so invested in music. She would just let me listen to music from all around the world, like Stevie Wonder, like Bonnie M. I would listen to this when I was like 9 and 10, and she would
Mm.
just talk to me about it. My dad was more classical, so I'd listen to all, like the blues and the jazz and the classic music and all the, like the weird Frank Sinatra stuff. So I had a very creative childhood. I was also raised in my grandparents' house, like my grandma on my dad's side and my grandpa and my grandma on my mom's side. So it was very, I think you were surrounded by adults, and you were also living a very creative life. So this is my childhood. I guess this is why I'm a writer, probably.
I'm not gonna lie, that is amazing. That is amazing. That's dope. That is really dope.
Yeah.
So how all that you've been through, as a child, made you the person you are today?
I think it made everything, because anything in between just fell off, like
Mm.
everything in between, when I tried to play the normal life and just had, like normal boyfriends and normal jobs and stuff that was not more artistic, I kind of like drifted away from the child that I was. So
Mm.
now, I think now this year especially, I'm living the real person that I am for the first time in probably 10 years. Ever since I graduated college, I took a very different route from where I should have been. So, yeah, I think the child in me should have been this person, but 10 years ago. But you never know. You just take life, and you let the learning curve take you. And I don't think I would have been where I am right now, more confident as a person, a creative person, if I didn't go, different routes that didn't fit me.
That's dope. I think I could relate to that too, because I feel like this year also shaped me more of the best version of myself that I've been like in a very long time. Especially more creative wise too.
Oh la
So
la.
yeah, so I definitely could relate. We got things in common. That's dope. That's
A
dope.
lot, bro. Are you serious? Yeah, we have a lot in common. I can
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
it.
yeah. Fact, me too. So let's talk about you as a writer. So what inspired you to become a writer, and what made you want to go that route?
Okay, so I think I was writing at a really early age. I didn't know why. I was there. I was writing even as a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. But I think the first defining moment was when my mom, we had a library at home, and I read whatever I could get my hands on. And then I told my mom, like, oh my gosh, why don't they have a book like this and this and this? Mom, I really needed to read a story about this and this. And she told me, like, if you can't find it, why don't you write it? Just write a story like that. And I think this was the first moment. I was 9, this happened.
Mm.
So ever since this moment, I don't know, I didn't stop, I guess.
Nice. It's funny because my next question was, what age do you start writing? So I think you kind of answered that already. So
Oh
was it
yeah.
so your first piece of writing, was it a story or was it a poem or?
I was writing poetry at a very early
Okay.
age. I think I was just dabbling in poetry in when
Mm,
I was 8 or 9, just writing stuff, like what I feel was expressing my moments. And I remember clearly why I wanted to write poetry. It was, I think, a torn page from this foreign magazine. It was in English, and the first language in my country is Arabic. And I read this kind of like a poem that was torn, so it wasn't even complete. And I got so obsessed with it, like, what are these words? What is this? I need to write like this. But the first thing that I wrote that was really coherent and had a structure was a short story. And it was inspired by my life in my school and, my friends and the boyfriends that each girl had and stuff. And I had made it a murder mystery. I think I kind of like wrote my bullies in it and I wrote my
mm,
friends in it as the heroes and stuff like that. I think this was the first thing that you could tell a real piece of writing that Jay wrote. And I think I was so embarrassed even to write as Kiss. And now when I think about it, because I write really daring stuff as poetry in my writings, content sexual content, very heavy. And I remember myself as a shy kid, like I couldn't even write that they kissed. So I just took, like a picture of the Titanic kiss and just put it like,
mm.
and just stuck the picture like, this is what they did. I'm not gonna write it. I'm not gonna write they kiss. And I was 9, and this is
Wow.
hilarious.
Wow, that
So
that is
yeah.
dope. That is dope. And I know you wrote a book. So
Okay.
you wrote a couple books. So we're gonna talk about one of them right now is The Workshop Blues. Tell us about that book and how is the process of getting that together?
Okay, look, Workstation Blues was written inspired by a very, very sad time that I had. It was a traumatic time actually for me when I was working a 9 to 5 job at a medical company. And I had a really difficult time there. I met a lot of crap. I had a sexual harassment incident and I didn't report it. And I've been met with some, like bullying and toxic workplace environment. It wasn't a good environment. So I was in pain and I couldn't tell anyone around me about it. So I just wrote a poem a day to cope, trying to get myself through the day. I thought, oh my God, I'm not gonna go out of this job. I'm not going to leave it at all. So I might just as well just write something to just let me cope with the bad experience. And when I got out of it, I think a year later, I thought, okay, this poetry could be good. I wrote a notebook full of poetry. And
Mm.
before that time, I don't think I have written poetry for a very long time. So when I found out, like, wow, look at what I have, I might as well just publish it online, you never know. And I got really good response. And this publishing house, Poets In, they approached me like, would you like to make a book with us? And I was like, okay, great. And then they just published Workstation Blues, and it's an amazing experience. And I feel so proud of it, like it's my first poetry book out there. It's my first English book out there, and couldn't be more proud. But the story behind it was kind of, like traumatizing, but because you wrote it and you got the art out there, so at least there was a bit of a catharsis in it.
Yeah, and it's funny because I read one of your poems recently. I believe it was about the stalker Facebook poem.
Yeah,
And
because
and
it's really inspired by true events. Yeah.
mhm. And I read some of your poems, and you are really, really good, very talented. So
Oh,
just
thank you.
shout out to you. I'm definitely gonna read more, but for the stuff I read so far, you're really
Thank
killing it.
you.
Amazing, amazing. But
Thank you.
let's talk about your second book. You also wrote a book called "Bury My Room on the West Bank." Tell us about that, and tell us about the process of that book.
Well, this book was different because I think I wanted to make a second book so much. And I just collected a few poems that I wrote about some times. I think it was post a relationship, post the time where I wasn't financially stable. It had a lot of Egyptian elements in it, mostly the pharaonic stuff. It was inspired by the pharaonic heritage. And I tried to invest all of this. I tried to put the mythology and the reality in it.
Mhm.
So it came out kind of weird, kind of strange. And I don't even know how my third poetry book is gonna be, but I feel happy that with every book I'm reinventing myself. And this one was, I think it was published, just a friend of mine, he was just publishing and he just told me, like, if you have something, and I just gave him the manuscript, like, I have this. What do you think? And he's just, okay, I'm gonna publish it. So I think, I don't know, I haven't published with a major publishing house so far, but I'm just happy, like I'm going with the flow. Honestly, don't think it too much.
And that's dope that you're doing amazing things with your book and stuff. So let my audience know, where can they read your poetry and where can they purchase your book? Because we got to support you. We got to support you.
Okay, so my books are on Amazon.com. You can find them anywhere. And I publish my recent poetry on theprose.com. And I do, like I try to do visual poetry and poetic collaborations. I collaborated with Acheng Soldier the poet. I collaborated with a lot of poets too. So I do poetic collaborations too and visual poetry on Instagram. So you can find me either on Instagram or on theprose.com. This is the more recent stuff. And the books are on Amazon.
Nice. Yeah, everybody get her book. Yeah, support her. So tell us, what is your biggest achievement as a poet or author or writer so far? What do you feel is your biggest achievement?
I think getting my word out there. I mean, it's so beautiful when you're out there and people from other parts of the world connect to what you're doing. Like imagine someone from a different country who's like, oh, this hit me so hard. I felt it. This just gives me, that I feel like I haven't done, like grand accomplishments so far. Maybe I want to do more. Maybe I'm kind of greedy. But what I feel like is just good for me, what gives me immense pleasure really is when someone just says, oh man, this gives me goosebumps. What have you written? This just fills me with pride. Like you could just invest yourself into the lives of others and you feel this emotional and spiritual connection or whatever. So for me, this is my biggest accomplishment. And I have to say, when I was starting out writing poetry, as in, like I have different stages. Like I have my childhood stage and teenage stage, but I have like the stage where I was a professional poet in a way. I wrote on theprose.com and they had this competition, Bleed on the Page. And I wrote this poem, Poof Vagina. And it was a weird fictional tale about a woman whose vagina died and a funeral for the vagina. And it was a crazy idea. And I just put it out there and it won the first prize. And I'm just
wow.
This was a real good moment for me. I was so happy with it.
That is dope. And we're looking for more achievement for you.
Oh,
I want to see you do big things because
I think you can. Me too.
So much positive vibe, and yeah, I can feel the positivity right now. So
thank you. Yeah, sending your way.
Yeah, I want you to win. I want you to win. So what is your goal for your poetry, and what message you want to bring to like your audience when you read your poetry?
I want them to feel. I want people to just feel like what I want with people, with anything that I do, anything artistic that I do, just because for me, okay, when I watch a movie or just hear a song, there are good songs and there are good movies, but there are movies that make you feel. You feel things, you feel something strange happen to you, like you feel the experience left you different. So this is what I aim for. This is my main goal.
Nice. And I know you're going to do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So recently I heard you on another podcast show, who is one of my podcast friends, shout out to Michelle Podcast. And on that show, she said that you was a funny girl.
Try.
Tell us more about that.
Honestly, I just try. I've always been like a funny kid, like with my friends and with my sister and even with my boyfriends, like, and with men it's different because when you're in a relationship, like you don't never feel the dynamic. Like you could feel the guy accepting the comedy from you as a woman because my comedy is like really outrageous. And most men see me as this, like cute girl and stuff like that. So for me to just be an aggressive and daring comedian, even in real life, would always get me the reaction that I want. And this is always something that I aim, even in real life. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I just aim for a reaction from people. Like I just want to see intense feelings and intense emotions and stuff like that, because I guess I get off on that. So with Michelle, who's like a babe, someone I totally love, and I totally love her podcast. So shout out to Michelle if you're listening, baby. Because for me, just to talk with her and to just generate this energy and get off it, for me, it makes me, I don't know, like life more meaningful for me. I think I grew up, even my cynical side and my left side, after many traumas and many dark times that I've had in life. And I never had an easy life, and I've had really, really dark moments in my life. And at the heart of these moments, I think I developed the comedic sense. And also, I think I just took it after my dad, of course, who was like a very, very dark, cynical person. So I just always wanted, when I was a kid, to be, like, I want to be him. I want to be him because, I always thought, like, mainly when you're in a big conservative family, you feel like a lot of the people are boring. I'm sorry to the relatives, but most of them are boring. They're not just, like making fun of sadness. They always want to sit tight, and women are supposed to be like, you should sit like this and talk like this. I always wanted to break the mold. I always wanted to break the status quo. So for me, being a funny girl, I think is just trying to make sense of the craziness that is life, and at the same time, just having fun. So yeah, with Michelle, I think I became even bolder in expressing this comedic side of mine, and I wanted to do it more, and I got off her energy because she's such a great person, great personality, great comedian. So yeah, I think it's a pivotal moment for me this year.
No, and I like to laugh, so yeah, so
We'll get along. We'll get
yeah,
along
you
because
definitely will. You definitely will. Yeah.
joke a lot.
And also shout out to Michelle, yo, she killing with her show. Check out the Michelle podcast, y'all. Check it out. It's a good show. So also, since we on the topic of funny and stuff, who are your favorite comedians? Name your top 3 favorite comedians.
Man, I love a lot of comedians. I think I was recently introduced by Michelle to Michaela Cole. She has this show, Chewing Gum, which is like amazing.
Oh yeah,
And I love Issa Rae, of course. She's like amazing for me. I love too, oh my gosh, Barbara Streisand too. I love a lot of female comedians, really. I used to love Robin Williams, of course. I love him so much. And I love a lot of the stand-up comedy people. There's a lot of crazy people out there. I'm open to everything. I just try to get off the energy too. But mainly I love the female comedians who are like just not afraid of being themselves and going out there, with their energy and with their stuff. And I always try to find new ones. So yeah.
Yeah, agree. There's a lot of dope comedians out there, women, men and women. So yeah,
Yeah, a lot.
yeah. But let's switch gears a little bit. So I'm not sure if y'all had it. Y'all probably did. But in Egypt, in here we had a pandemic, COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how did the pandemic affect you? What did you learn from it? How was it in Egypt? Because I don't even know, how was it in Egypt?
It was kind of, like it was a bit scary at first because, like we knew a lot of people, we lost a lot of people to COVID, and it was just sad, and the environment was intense. A lot of, like folks kind of like had it rough, and we were afraid, especially for our parents and for our elderly and stuff like that. So it was not fun. But I think what I really did during COVID, because I had a stable job at the time, believe it or not, I would go and we would have shifts. Okay. And we had a very mean manager. He didn't, like a lot of places said you can work from home, but us, no, our manager was so mean. You just have to go out there. And we were so scared to even walk in the street. So just the audacity that he had to like tell people to just go to the office, it was so mean. We just went, and I remember having shifts when I was on my own in the office. And that's when I started developing this series. I used to have a Facebook account back then, and it was like Dear Zorro. Okay, like Zorro, the figure, like the masked ranger and stuff like that. I was so infatuated by this figure when I was a little kid because Antonio Banderas played it, and I was like, oh wow, he's amazing. So now, that time I would go to the office, and work was very scarce. There was nothing to do. You would just open social media and see, like people dying or people just getting sick. You were so traumatized by it. So I was like, what can I do now? It's terrible environment. It's a terrible time. And I don't want to even think that I might be bringing it to my parents. Yes, we had all the precautions and stuff like that. And I would wear the mask and sanitize every now and then, but still it was scary. So for me, as a part of healing, I wrote this Dear Zorro series. And I would just write it on Facebook and just go home and then come back the next day. And I would feel people like, please write. And there was this girl, she was working the same company with me, but in a different department. And she would watch it. And she sent me this private message. I still have it to the day. She was like, I read what you write every day. Please don't stop. So for me, just to try and do something out of the darkness and the ambiguity that we all lived in, I think this just made me feel like there was something in me that was alive, even at a certain time like that.
I agree. I know over here it was really, really bad. I know I had a bad experience, while that time, dealing with anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
but the podcast helped me, take this a lot more serious and help me to really, put myself out there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. Also my Nintendo Switch, could that help me too? Because going through all the bad things, it was a good distraction to
Yeah, yeah,
all that going on out there. So,
yeah.
so yeah, so yeah. But let's switch
Yes.
gears. Let's get back to more positive notes. Let's get back to more
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
So what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do?
I want to take a road trip. And I always imagine that if I go to America, I'll take a road trip. I don't think I'll stay in a state. I'll just take a road trip and, like go from a place to place. I want to forget who I am. Like I want to take a road trip where I would go from state to state, from town to town, and not be Jaylan. I not be Jaylan, be a person, like a creature, and just go from a place to another, and meet people, and then who knows how many days have passed, how many months and stuff, and then see at the end of it, am I still me, or is it someone else? For me, it's always like these crazy things where you just lose yourself in the experience. This is what I want to do. I just want to lose myself and just be even. I want to see if I can surprise myself with things in me that I didn't know exist.
Mm, no, I ain't gonna lie. You say you want to go to America. I want to go to Egypt. So that's
Yeah,
kind of on my list. Egypt is on my list. So I ain't gonna lie.
definitely. You gotta come. You gotta come. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
definitely.
take care of you.
Yeah, definitely will come. Definitely will come. Definitely. So, well, so what other project that you got going on that you haven't mentioned yet?
I'm working on my visual poetry project, and I have, like trying to work on some collaborations right now. And I have a poetry book and in 2 weeks there might be something that I'm working on with Michelle. So
Oh,
stay
okay.
tuned, everybody. It's gonna be something really cool. Just wait for it in 2 weeks. You'll find all about it. And it's, like exciting. So yeah, there is a lot that I'm working on. I'm just trying to discover, I think, myself and others through art.
Nah, I'm looking forward to everything you're about to do. I am looking forward to everything you're about to do.
Thank you,
So what?
Ken.
You're welcome. So what do you have to say for anybody going to same route as you? Say something inspirational. As a writer, a poet, author.
I want to tell people, okay, because I've been in this place, and I hope someone who is listening would just get something out of it. I've been down, like really down, where you lose everything. You lose, everything that you love. You just get betrayed, and life just stomps on you so hard, and you start again at a certain age from zero. I just want to tell these people just to hold on to the true thing inside them, because this is what really matters. I know this sounds stupid sometimes, or just insane, or just simple words when you're in a bad situation, because I've been in a bad situation before where I didn't want to get out of bed. I've had depression that hard where I was just confined in my room. And even my sister, whom I love so much because she is just everything to me, would tell me, like, it will pass, it will get better. You will just look back on this and feel like it didn't even exist, and you will go and you have to hold on to your art, And I would feel like, what is she saying? This, I don't feel anything. But now that I look at myself now, yes, I can see that this person didn't see what was in store for them. So I want to tell anybody who is in this dark place, if they have something true inside them, to just hold on to it, because this will be the release. This will save them.
Nice, nice.
Nothing else.
There you go. Drop the mic. That was amazing. That was amazing. So before you go, we're gonna play a segment game.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna play a segment game called. Usually I do 5 random topics, but since this conversation is really dope, I'm gonna give you 10 random topics. We'll ask you
Ooh.
10 random topics, and you just give me your opinion on it. It could be short, long. It don't matter. Are you ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
All right. So we're gonna start over. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yes.
Can I say coffee?
I mean,
Damn.
oh, you
Oh,
want to
damn
add?
it.
You add favorite drink. You could add favorite drink.
I can eat like, I think I love French fries. I love appetizers like French fries and hors d'oeuvre and whatever. I just love these appetizers more than main courses. Please take the main courses out of my, and dipping to anything that you can dip in. I just take the dipping and like throw the main course away. So there's the food for you. I have a weird taste.
I mean, I don't mind it is weird, but I don't mind it either. I don't mind that either. I eat anything, so I'm a foodie, so I don't mind that either. So, what is your favorite type of music?
Oh, jazz and metal and rock, and
Oh, and
I'm a metalhead. I'm a total metalhead, and of course but I love gangster rap. Like where I feel like I be like, yeah, I started at a Compton. Just this is me. This is totally me. So yeah, as you can feel like, first of all, of course, I love jazz and blues and stuff like that. Oh, takes me other places, and then a metal because I'm a metalhead and a rocker, and my teenage years were all about rock and heavy metal and stuff like that, and of course, gangster rap. So yeah.
Interesting choices. That's nice. Interesting choices. I like all types of music. R&B is my favorite, but
Oh, I love R&B. I love
yeah,
R&B
R&B.
too. I
Yeah,
love a
R&B.
lot
Yeah,
of music. Have a
yeah,
weird
me too.
taste.
I mean, you're not the only one. Trust me, you're not the only one. My playlist is weird. You can hear
Please.
you hear pop one day, R&B the next, country. Yeah, it's weird. My choice
Yeah,
is weird.
I'm open to anything. You just suggest songs to me and I'll listen. I love
Yeah, pretty
listening to
much.
music.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I ain't gonna lie, me too. What is your favorite TV show right now?
I was obsessed with The Bear, but I
Mm,
also I think I want to watch Atlanta for some reason. Yeah.
mm.
So I was obsessed with The Bear, and I'm going into Atlanta. There is also this conversations with friends and stuff. I watched it for a while and it was good. So these are the top three for me.
Okay, nice, nice, nice. Oh, you kind of answered this one already. What is a vacation that you want to go?
Easy road trip. I want to go to a road trip across the states. I woke up in New York City. Like there's this song, I woke up in a car. I love this song so much because it's just about a guy just going on, heading from state to state and stuff. So yeah, this is the ideal vacation spot for me.
Nice. All right, what movie made you cry?
Oof, a lot. But I think I like like Moonlight made me cry, and In the Mood for Love made me cry. I don't cry at, like the romantic movies so much, but more of the intense dramas. These
Mm.
make me cry. So I think I watched The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I was just reminiscing on my teenage years and school years and stuff. So I cried like a baby. Also, The Lion King, because I just
Of
can't.
course.
No, please don't take his father. And this something, yeah. So these are the movies that made me cry the most. Oh,
Lion King too for me.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Stop.
Um, favorite cartoon.
Easy, The Lion King, yeah, because but of course The Little Mermaid, because I was so Ariel when I was little. I was just I had long hair. Of course, it wasn't red, but I had long hair, and I would sing part of my Your World like out loud and like feel like I'm her. Just let me out and stuff. And I hated Ursula so much. And I love the scene where this was kiss the girl and stuff like. I loved it. I would just sing it all the time. I loved all the songs too. Of course, when I grew up, I was more into, like the Hayao Miyazaki animated movies and stuff like that
Yeah,
because I loved Studio Ghibli so much. But when I
mm,
was little, these were the ones.
I know that's the classic cartoons. We
I
grew up on them. We grew up
Yeah,
on them. I Kevin Hart or Eddie Murphy.
Kevin Hart, baby. I love Kevin Hart. Okay, I loved. I was gonna say Kevin Hart is my favorite comedian. Man, I'd watch him in an interview and I'd just laugh. For some
Mm,
reason, he just gets on all the Eddie Murphy. For some reason, I love him more as a serious actor. For me, he's just, and he made this. Okay, he made this movie, which I know might be not scary now, but I watched it when I was little. It's called The Vampire in Brooklyn. This movie
mhm.
scared the shit out of me. Seriously, I even it to the day and I remembered, like, man, no, I don't want to meet Maximilian. And it had, of course, Angela Bassett, which is like a goddess. I love her so much. So yeah, it was a cool movie. I have to write about this movie or make a video about it or something because I love it so much. I'm obsessed with it even to the day.
Nice. I ain't gonna lie. Kevin Hart at first, when Kevin Hart first started, he wasn't my favorite comedian, but he
Yeah,
grew on me. He grew on me heavy though. He grew
yeah,
on me
yeah,
heavy.
yeah.
And Eddie Murphy,
Eddie Murphy.
cause he legend. We can't say.
I
I mean,
know, I know what you mean. I love him as an
yeah.
actor. I think Eddie Murphy has this thing. He's this just, like this air about him that makes him, I don't know, more mysterious to me. So for me, he's just like, oh yeah. Maybe he'll be the vampire for me all the time. And I look at him and I'm like, no, you're gonna turn.
Yeah, Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy though too. Eddie Murphy though
I
too.
love us, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a hard question.
Ooh.
Okay, Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston?
But I can okay, I'm sorry. I love Michael Jackson as a rocker. I think he's a great rock star. Like Michael Jackson is not pop, okay? Michael Jackson is a rock star. Look at the music, look at the grit, look at the grunge. No, he's a rock star. He's one of the greatest rock stars ever living on this planet. But Whitney is Queen Whitney. You know, like when she sings, this is what I'm telling you. This is what I aim at with real art. Like when she sings, something happens and you're not in this world. You're engulfed in her voice and in her prowess and in her power, in her vulnerability, in her intensity. You feel like she owns you. This woman owns you. So for me, Whitney's like there, but Michael is like the imaginary friend we all had as kids and stuff like that. So yeah, he's
I,
the moonwalker, baby.
I mean, this is hard. 'Cause I'm a fan of both of them. I'm a fan
Yeah,
of both of them.
I know,
I love
same.
I love Whitney music all my life, but I love Michael. I mean, of course, I am a big Michael fan though. But
Crazy.
yeah, I love.
Oh, are you serious, man? And the guitars alone, hey, this guy, he was like, I'm not. Sometimes I always thought, wow, what if Michael Jackson was an alien? And we were just in on it. Him and David Bowie, I always think of them like these guys might not even be from Earth, and we were all fooled to think they were here. So yeah, for me, this is insane.
Oh wow! And I got one last one. Since
Okay.
you're a film critic, so I'm asking you this question:
Hmm.
What is your 5 favorite movies of all time?
In the Mood for Love. There's
Mm,
this Kung Fu Master by Chantal Ackerman, and it's a
mm,
great movie. You have to watch. It's so emotional. And Moonlight, of course, Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, and 12 Angry Men.
mm.
And let's see, the fifth, I'll say Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese, whom I really love. So yeah, you have. These are the top 5 now at the top of my head. I have more, of course, but these
Of
ones are
course,
like, and they're so different from each other. So yeah.
yeah.
But
I
Moonlight
can.
is like, I love Moonlight. So I'm obsessing over Moonlight ever since I saw it in 2016 or something. I can't
Mm.
stop.
Those are good choices. I can't even do that top 5 because it's hard to pick. I can't even do it.
Damn.
It's hard. It's too much.
But
But
you should have told me your top 5. What are they? Come on.
I
You gotta
mean,
give me something.
my favorite. I gotta think. Ooh, that's hard. Lion King is one of my favorite movies. Also,
Please.
of course, Toy Story. Of course, is another one I could watch all the time. Uh, this movie called The Last Dragon.
Dragon, of course. So endearing. Oh my god. And you're a babe.
I'll see. What else? What else? Rush Hour is one of my favorite movies. I can always watch Rush Hour with
I love
Chris
Rush
Tucker
Hour.
and
So
Jimmy. And
crazy.
yes, and Jackie Chan.
My
Uh,
dad is a great Jackie Chan fan, so you could have imagined our house having, like VH tapes of Jackie Chan. So I've had my Jackie Chan experience education back then. Yeah.
and the last one, it's hard because my list change all the time. I would say this is my top 5. Then another list is something else. But I gotta say,
Fun.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That's a classic growing up.
Because of Jessica Rabbit. You guys all like it because of Jessica. I
Yeah,
mean, come on, it's a crazy. I love Roger Rabbit, of course. Yeah, it's crazy.
me too.
These are really awesome choices, and they show that you have this, like childish, kiddish side, which I think is so cute. It just appears. It just shows in you. You have the child in you is alive, and I feel these are my favorite people because I believe I am like that too. Like we didn't kill our inner child. I've
Yeah,
learned
yeah.
this, like in yoga and Reiki sessions. Like, don't kill your inner child. This is what will make you creative all your life. So I
That's
can feel it
yeah.
in you, and I'm so happy. Ooh,
And I definitely feel that way too. And I like a lot. I love the conversation. I might have to bring it back so we just talk about movies because that would
please,
be yeah. We
please,
gotta do
let's
that.
have a movie heavy episode. I'm in
Oh,
for
you
it.
know what? You know what? We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make that happen.
Okay,
But
okay.
until then, Jay, thank you for coming on the show. It was a really dope conversation. I loving this positive energy. I loving this conversation. We definitely gonna do part 2 interview and
Definitely.
keep killing with your poetry. I definitely gonna support you and check it out more stuff and keep doing your thing.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me. It was great. It was dope, really.
It
I love it.
it, it was. But before you go, drop your social media where everybody can reach you and drop everything that you're doing, all your poetry, where they can get your book and stuff like that. This is your time.
Okay, you can just find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jaylan Salman, and you can find me on theprose.com. I publish all my new poetry, and I have also Jaylan Salman Writes, which is my Facebook page. I have a YouTube page too. I'm just trying to put some of my videos and interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, you can reach me anywhere in this. I'd love to connect with artists and stuff like that.
Though all her information will also be on the show notes. So yeah, y'all can check it out there. And thank y'all, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning into this latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Pocket TV. Thank you to my special guest, Jay, for coming on the show. You are an amazing person. So much creativity, so much positive vibe. This conversation really was really dope. And I can't wait for part 2. So once again, Jay, thank you for coming on the show. And check out her poetry, y'all. It's amazing poetry. Check it out. And she's doing amazing things right now. And y'all already know every Sunday, MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, each and every Sunday at 12 p.m. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pods, and many more. And y'all can check out MrGentleman Lifestyle Pocket TV on YouTube. Ken, aka MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Network. Ken, aka MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Network, and subscribe on YouTube right now. So once again, thank y'all for checking out the latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Pocket TV. Have a good day or night wherever you're watching this episode.
You are now watching MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV. Cheers!